All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about the Bitcoin miners, and I want to count down the top Bitcoin miners as I have them ranked. We cover Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners quite a bit on this channel, so if you're new to the channel, please do us a favor and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could do us a favor and smash the like button, it helps the channel a lot, and feel free to drop a comment below. What I want to do today is go through 17 publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies. There are 15 of these companies, all of which have aspirations to be a top 5 Bitcoin mining company. The competition in this industry has grown massively over the last 1 year, so not everybody's going to win. So I want to go through where all 17 of these companies are, and in specific 15 of them that are looking to be a top 5 Bitcoin mining company. And then I'm going to show you where I have them ranked right now. So this particular list, I want everybody to bear in mind, is based on actual mining operations. So there's a lot of other variables when determining which one is the best Bitcoin miner to invest in. This is just one of those variables. I weigh this variable a little more heavily than a lot of the other variables because, as we have seen, there is a difference between what companies plan to do and what they actually execute in doing. We'll talk about Bitcoin mined in the month of March. We'll talk about Bitcoin mined month to date. I'm going to go through their active exahash as well as their Bitcoin hodling. I've broken this down into 5 groups. Group 5 are companies that just do not have enough data to be ranked yet. So these are companies Cypher and Wolf. So you'll see I have rank NA. I'm not putting them at 16 and 17. There's not enough information. We know they have plans to be much bigger than that. They're just not really operational yet. They just started mining according to their own press releases. Cypher started mining in February and Wolf started mining in March. Neither one of these companies has given us an actual number of Bitcoin that they have mined, nor have they given us any monthly updates. So for now, I leave these as unranked as there's just not enough information. So if this is one of your favorite companies, or if this is an investment, don't be discouraged that they're not at the top of the list, because this particular list is based on actual performance. These guys are too new to have a proven track record. And again, all of you guys are probably invested in different companies. Everybody watching this video is probably invested in one of these 17 companies. So as you see where your company falls on this list, remember, this is from an execution standpoint right now. And obviously, all of these companies are at different phases of their life cycle. So some of these I expect to see move up or down the list dramatically. And when we look back at the end of the year, the December ranking of this list could be drastically different than this ranking. So let's continue. Group 4 is a small group. DigiHost and DMG blockchain at 14 and 15. Group 4 is comprised of Bitcoin miners that are publicly traded. They're at or around $100 million of market cap or more. So these are small cap companies. These companies do not have an aspiration to be a top 5 Bitcoin mining company. That is not their stated plan. They do have growth plans and they hope to be successful companies, but their growth plans do not include getting to 20 or 30 exahash and vying for the top spot. Now, if you have a Bitcoin miner that you want on this list, drop in the comments below, because I know there's 5 or 6 other Bitcoin miners that I don't have on the list at all. They're not in any position or don't even hope to be in a position to be a top 10 Bitcoin miner. But let me know if I'm missing somebody or one of those companies that you think has massive value in it. So in other words, just because DigiHost is number 14 doesn't mean it's a bad investment. In fact, I am invested in DigiHost. There are 6 Bitcoin miners that aspire to be top 5 Bitcoin mining companies. There's 7 that have differentiated themselves from the group. This 6 are right behind them. These are companies with big aspirations. Some of them have already fallen way off of plan. A lot of these are just not reporting enough information for us to get where they're at. And some of these companies are very new, so they're just passing through this spot, right? Everybody starts at 0. So I'm just going to run down the list of these real quickly. We've got Argo Blockchain. This is a company that's been around for a while, but they had a tough year last year. They made a big energy deal recently in Texas. They have plans for massive growth. So they have fallen behind their peers over the last year, but they are active. They are making new plans in Texas and they are looking to grow. So currently they did do a monthly operational update and they mined 163 Bitcoin in the month of March. They were at 1.6 exahash per their website. They did not say that in their monthly operational update. 3 of these companies do not give monthly updates at all, so it's very hard to tell where they fall. One of these companies Mawson, stock ticker MIGI, does give monthly updates, but they have not given their April update yet. So the numbers that you see on my chart reflect their guidance in their February update as to how they were going to perform in April. Somewhere in the 150 Bitcoin mined per month range, but we don't know because they're not telling us. GREE, again, is fairly new. They're representing that they have 1.6 exahash, but they have not given any information as to what their mining results in 2022 are. They did report their mining results in 2021. So based on that, I expect them to be very similar to Argo blockchain, somewhere in the 150 Bitcoin mined per month range, but we don't know because they're not telling us. Iris Energy, they do give us a monthly update. So they mined 121 Bitcoin in the month of March. That gives them 357 Bitcoin year to date, and they are at 0.85 exahash that's operational. They have more machines than that. They're not just up and running yet. So again, based on how quickly these companies can get their machines up and running and operational, and how close they stay onto their delivery for all the new machines they expect to get, is going to determine where these companies go on this list in the future. BTBT Bit Digital has had massive struggles over the last year. They are reporting 1.6 exahash of capacity, but they're running at much less than that. They did not give us a monthly update as far as the number of Bitcoin mined in the month of March, but they have let us know that there's still a significant amount of the 1.6 exahash capacity that is not even operational yet. They have purchase orders in for another 10,000 machines past all of these that they expect this year, but unfortunately they still have yet to plug in all of their machines that they moved from China over to North America and a few other places. So Bit Digital is somebody where you can see a year ago they were considered much higher up this list, but they have fallen down on this list. They're going to have to do something to try and move up the list. That's why I have them near the bottom of Group 3, because from an execution standpoint, they have struggled over the last year. The last one in Group 3 is Stronghold. Same situation. They have very big aspirations. However, they've run into a few big stumbling blocks. They have a big problem with one particular supplier. So this is another example of planned versus execution. That's why on this particular list, I am focused on execution, because you can have all the purchase orders in the world, but until you receive those machines, plug them in, get them up and running, mine the Bitcoin at a high gross profit margin effectively so that you make money, you have not achieved your goal yet. Okay, let's talk top 7. Coming in at number 7 is CleanSpark. CleanSpark in the first quarter mined 899 Bitcoin. They did 318 Bitcoin in the month of March. That was the best month they've ever had. They increased their hash rate by about 4.5% to 2.3 exahash. So that puts them in 7th place in Bitcoin mined year to date, 7th place in the number of Bitcoin mined in the month of March, 7th place in their exahash. However, their Bitcoin hodled is only 420. They do not hodl Bitcoin at the moment. They've been using their Bitcoin to fund growth and operations. They do expect to have a more balanced approach going forward on hodling their Bitcoin, so they do expect to strengthen their balance sheet over time. Right now, they've made it clear that they view their growth in exahash rate and infrastructure is the most important thing, and so they have been using their Bitcoin. It seems like the market has rewarded them for that. Their stock is the best performing stock out of all these stocks so far in the year 2022. It is currently on a little bit of a pullback, as are all the Bitcoin mining stocks. Okay, coming in at number 6 is Hut 8. So Hut has mined 942 Bitcoin in the first quarter. They mined 345 Bitcoin in the month of March. They increased their exahash a little bit to 2.54, and their Bitcoin hodling is 6,460. So that's how many Bitcoin they have on their balance sheet as of March 31st, 2022. So that is actually the third most out of all of the publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies. These guys were the original Bitcoin hodlers. They've had a Bitcoin hodling strategy for quite some time now. They do not sell any of their Bitcoin, and they haven't for well over a year. Hut 8 does have a small percentage of their mining in Ethereum. However, they accept payment in Bitcoin, so what you'll see here is essentially a Bitcoin equivalent, but the vast majority of that is actual Bitcoin. So coming in at number 5 is Bitfarms. Bitfarms has mined 962 Bitcoin in the first quarter, 363 in the month of March. They had a 17.4% increase in their exahash rate in the month of March. That got them to 2.7 exahash. I will tell you, they've already announced that they've gotten up to 3.0 exahash in the month of April. So they have been sticking to their growth plan, and they have had excellent growth. Number 4 on the list is Hive Blockchain. Hive Blockchain has mined 1,249 BTC equivalent. Now, this is important in the situation of Hive because about a third of their mining is in Ethereum. They do the conversion for us to show how many Bitcoin equivalent that is, but they do not convert those to Bitcoin. They actually use their Ethereum to fund operations and growth, and they are now hodling all of their Bitcoin. So again, all these companies have a little bit of a different formula. So when you look at all of Hive's numbers, they're in Bitcoin equivalent numbers because some of what they do is in Ethereum. It looks like they're attempting to grow their Bitcoin footprint. So right now, about a third of what they do is Ethereum. I expect that to be less and less over time as they continue to invest in Bitcoin mining machines. But you'll see they've mined 1,249 BTC equivalent in the first quarter. So that is actually significantly more than the rest of the people in this group. They did 447 BTC equivalent in the month of March. But again, a lot of this is Ethereum, which has a different equation. And obviously there's the proof of work versus proof of stake thing hanging over their heads. So Hive had a 16% growth in hash rate month over month, and they have hodled 2,568 Bitcoin. So let's go to number 3. Marathon being in third at 1,258 Bitcoin mined in the first quarter, 436 Bitcoin mined in March. So you can see that was less than the BTC equivalent of Hive. 2.6% growth in their exahash to a total of 3.9 exahash per second that's operational. So you'll see that's significantly more than those in group 2. And that includes over 60,000 machines sitting in storage that are the latest and greatest machines that they have yet to plug in. They are at 3.9 exahash, but that should change drastically over the next months to come, and that's the reason that they are in Group 1. They also have 9,374 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. They did buy about 4,800 of those about a year ago, so those are not all self-mined. Okay, number 2 is Riot. Riot has mined 1,405 Bitcoin in the first quarter, 511 Bitcoin in the month of March. So that is a personal record for Riot. And other than the company that's number 1 on this list, that's a record for any of these companies in 1 month. They grew their exahash rate by 10.3%. They are at 4.3 exahash per second as of March 31st. So they have been very much on target. They give their monthly operational updates. They've been on target. They've been growing very healthy growth every month. They have 6,062 Bitcoin on their balance sheet, so a very strong balance sheet. That's number 4th overall. So they're second in exahash rate. They're second in Bitcoin mined in the month of March. They're second overall in Bitcoin mined year to date. So they rank at number 2 on this list. Core Scientific currently is significantly ahead of everybody else on this list. So Core Scientific has mined 3,201 Bitcoin in the first quarter. 1,143 Bitcoin in the month of March. That is their all-time record. It's the all-time record. 1.2% increase in their exahash rate. That leaves them at 8.3 exahash. So you can see that's a significant jump over number 2 and number 3, and 8,497 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. That's number 2 overall, just behind Marathon. So obviously that leaves them at number 1 overall on the list. Again, I do expect this list to change a lot, so please stay tuned. I will do this list once a month, and I will put out some more lists of different ways that I rank the Bitcoin mining companies based on different parameters. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know what your thoughts are. Drop me a comment with your favorite company below. Thanks so much for watching, and please again remember to subscribe to the channel, and we'd really appreciate it if you smash the like button. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you in the next video.